Fussen is a very attractive Bavarian town at the foot of Alps, near Austrian border on the Lech River. The town is located on the southern end of romantic road tourist route. It's a very, very beautiful route. Check it out, with maybe, I don't know, close to 10 cities, very beautiful cities in Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg. It's also a very good stop if you're planning to go along the German Alpine Road. It's a great location to rest, to stop over and to hike around Bavarian Alps, but the most important here, and probably what gives this city fame, is the fact that royal castles of King Ludwig II, famous Neuschwanstein castle and the well-known Hohenschwangau castle, maybe not as well known, are actually very, very close. They're in the neighboring village of Schwangau, and we will visit it shortly. But Fussen itself has unquestionably a lot to offer. Old Town has plenty of attractions. Very, very beautiful Old Town. Lovely high castle. There's a small castle in the town itself. And this was a residence of Prince Bishops of Augsburg. There's also former Benedictine monastery of Saint Mang. So great museums here. In other words, a lot to do, a lot to see. Fussen, truly an ancient city, was settled back in Roman times on the very important road Via Claudia Augusta that leads to northern Italy. It also was a former regional capital of Roman province, and the name itself, Fussen, is actually derived from Latin for gorge, probably referring to the Lech Gorge, or gorge around the Lech River. In the late antiquity, Fussen was home to the part of Legio III Italica. They were guards, stationed here to guard the important trade road over the Alps. Neuschwanstein Castle. Here I'm going to tell you about both castles. And now we are in a Hohenschwangau village. Here we will see both of the promised castles. We're going to start with Hohenschwangau Castle. It's a 19th century palace in southern Germany that was a childhood residence of King Ludwig II of Bavaria, and it was built by his father, King Maximilian II of Bavaria. It is located literally within less than 40 minutes walk away from Neuschwanstein. And a little bit about the history of the palace. The fortress Schwangau, which was first mentioned in the historical records dating to the 12th century, stood high on the rock on the site of the present Neuschwanstein Castle. The present-day Hohenschwangau Castle was first mentioned in 1397 under the name of Schwanstein. Only in 19th century the name of both castles were switched. The castle that we see right now is now called Neuschwanstein, or the new castle that we saw just a moment ago in yellow. And the castle that used to be called Schwanstein today is called Hohenschwangau, and Schwangau comes from the old fortress that used to be here. And now to the star of the show, Neuschwanstein. So this castle was commissioned by King Ludwig II of Bavaria as a retreat, and it was built in honor of a famous composer, Richard Wagner. Ludwig chose to pay for the palace from his own personal fortune and by means of extensive borrowing, rather than using Bavarian public funds. Construction began in 1869. It was never completed because castle was even more ambitious than the way you see it today. The castle was intended as private residence of the king, who died under very, very suspicious circumstances in 1886, way before his time, questioning how, successful he was in borrowing and paying back, or whatever other issues were there. Today, however, this castle is an immense success. It brings a lot of money to Bavaria, luckily. More than 1.3 million tourists visit this castle annually.